Hey, welcome. I'm Hillary Baggett, CEO, founder of Community Bloom, and I'm interviewing our founding members. Today, I get to interview my friend, my colleague, and even a mentor, Amy Miller with Amy's Art Palette and the Duet Project. And I'm excited to have Amy here today. And you can maybe tell from her background that she is an artist. And I'm just going to brag on her a little bit. We're going to talk about how she started the Duet Project and really what she's bringing to Community Bloom, which this might be uncomfortable, Amy, but I'm going to brag on you. Amy brings her heart, and she is such a good listener, and she's such a good encourager, and she has an ability to see what would be helpful. She asks really good questions, and she has helped me personally and professionally in so many ways. So I love so much about Amy, and I'm so glad we get to chat today.
Oh my gosh. I loved that welcome. Thank you so much for all of that.
Well, when we speak from our hearts, we get to know each other on a different level in a different way. And Amy and I met when we were learning how to develop, build, run memberships. And Amy is a huge supporter through this whole process. And I'm so grateful. So, before I talk about how and why you started the Duet Project, I'm going to share the one I actually did. I
Oh,
started out with my mother, and she bought this for me for my birthday. And step one was building a string art project. And I thought, okay, I love hearts and I love my mom. So I picked the string color that reminds me of my mom, which is usually the deep purple, which you also love purple. And so I started with this beautiful pattern where all the purple was crossing in the center. It's kind of hard, it's not really possible to see now. Well, then I sat down with my daughter and we're having a conversation, and I picked out the turquoise color, if you can see the turquoise back in there. And I also made kind of a cool and funky pattern of going back and forth and accentuating the heart and really focusing on these two sections up here. Well, then I started thinking about love and hearts, and I switched to the gold. And again, I was still in making it pretty. And it got me thinking about how we talk about getting stuck at perfection. And so I made this emanating from the bottom, and it kind of spreads out with the gold underneath. Well, then I started thinking about love and relationships in my marriage, and I realized I was getting stuck in holding myself back and overthinking it. So I added red, and love is messy. Relationships are hard, and I just went for it and stopped overthinking it. And I realized love is also complicated, and it's got all these layers and colors. And I thought that just really made so much sense to me. So I wanted to share with people what you do, what we do when we subscribe to the Duet Project. And it was so much fun to do. And the conversations are so much more relaxed because we're doing art and creating something.
that is incredible. And I love how you are using the Duet Project both with your mom and with your daughter because um and that you didn't do two separate projects with them, but for yourself, because we call ourselves the sandwich generation, right? We're the meat right now, and we got our mom and our daughter on either side of us, and that you are layering your relationships in that string art. And what a beautiful story and memory that now you've created with each of them, and then for yourself recognizing where you're at with their relationships with you, and also bringing in your husband, and then things that you touched on with the gold and the red and your imperfection of it. I love that because we can keep massaging something until we like it. When I was teaching art, that reminds me of a story, if I may. um I would only hand out one piece of paper, whatever project we were working on. And I taught kindergarten through fifth grade art for 12 years. And everyone knew in the class, like, you get one piece of paper, and they would come up to me, "Oh, Mrs. Miller, I made a mistake. I don't like this part. And I would not say, okay, here's another piece of paper. I would say, well, what can you do to work on so that you do like it? Because it's not about what I think, or I'm not going to reflect back to them, oh, I like it. It's fine. It's good. Go, keep going. Because it's my opinion doesn't really matter in that case. I would say, what can you do to make it so that you do like it?
Oh, I love that so much. I mean, this was a big deal to not want to start over and start a new project and having the conversation with my daughter, but realizing love and its many layers and the complexities of relationships. And, it's my mother and my daughter and me in between is kind of that midlife experience of the sandwich generation. And luckily, my daughter is healthy and my mom is still healthy. So I'm very fortunate with that. But it's also important to be a little transparent of that my life is also very messy. And these relationships do get complicated. So I think that helps encourage all of us that we don't have to present perfection.
Yeah, life is messy. And because of your sharing of that project and how you used it as a starting off point for both your mom and your daughter, I can see how I can use this project during a retreat with different conversations. And let's talk about, one topic, and then we're going to do this, the first layer, and like have them layer themselves.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
My mind is working now.
Well, tell us then about the origins of how you came up with this duet project idea.
So over 2 years ago now. So it was right in the beginning of the pandemic. Um, it was not on my radar whatsoever to have a membership, but I was given the opportunity to take this course where we met to have an online membership. And initially I was going to do art lessons for kids, but I wasn't feeling passionate about it. And then I had the opportunity, and I say that with intention, the opportunity to have an argument with my oldest daughter. And it's from that argument that I was inspired to create my first product, which is called the Mother Daughter Art Project. And that has now been going on for 2 years, over 2 years. And the feedback that I got from people like, can you send a box to England? I want to do this with my son, but he would never do the Mother Daughter Art Project. And, recognizing that what I've created in the Mother Daughter Art Project can be used not just for mothers and daughters, but for all pairs. And also recognizing that I needed to pivot. I was feeling like I want to do less filling of the box and more creating and facilitating connections for others. And how can I do that? And so I created the Duet Project, which is a digital magazine that you get monthly. And it has all the content from the Mother Daughter Art Project plus more. So the Duet Project is, it comes with a letter. Everyone starts at chapter 1 and it just keeps going. So in chapter 1, I give a long letter about setting intention and creating the space and maybe creating a ritual that you're starting on this journey with each other, right? Whoever it is. Currently, I'm really just messaging mothers and daughters, but the Duet Project is for any two people who want to connect on a deeper level.
Yeah.
I had to pick one pair to start with, and that's where I'm starting.
Yeah.
But it's not just for them.
Well, you've shared so much, so many golden nuggets just in that, because when you come in with an intention, whether it's for a project or a membership or a course, we can think, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to get out of it. But being willing to pivot, and whether it's in a conversation during the Duet Project, whether it's what you're doing with your business and relationships, honestly, right? Sometimes we think it's going to go this way, and then it's like, wait a minute, I think I need to change direction. So I'm
Mm.
grateful for that. I had the same experience, honestly, in taking this how to design and run a membership. I thought I wanted to just reach out to all women in midlife and help them with menopause and post hysterectomy. And I thought, wait a minute, what really lights me up is helping and supporting other women who get to where they want to go, help them reach their audiences, come together to connect as women entrepreneurs. So I think that's what kind of drew you and I together and why I'm such a huge fan of yours and always wanting to cheer you on.
Thank you. Thank you. I love this community that you have creating and that you're building. And it's kind of like there's there's a lot of communities out there. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of midlife women out there, but I feel like you're one of my people and you're going to attract other people that I'm going to feel like are my people.
Hmm. Yeah, really, really exciting. Wow, well, we kind of covered quickly Amy's art palette, what you bring into the community, and the Duet Project. Is there anything else you would like people to know?
Good question. Something that you said in the beginning of our call, um, I always kind of like, hmm, I have a little reaction to it. Maybe you don't, and I don't think you know it. And so I'll just share that. When you said, here's my background, Amy's an artist. Really, the word that I resonate more with is Amy is a facilitator. I am a facilitator and I do it through art. There were so many years that I didn't feel like an artist. I'm not trained in art whatsoever, right? So I am I'm a trained facilitator. I'm a credentialed teacher. So I know how to like plan, lesson plan. I know how to bring people together. I am good with relationships and cultivating that. And I've just using art as the pathway to get
Mm.
people to sit down. And I love the people who say, oh, I'm not an artist, because often the belief is if I can't draw, that's the belief. If I can't draw, I'm not an artist.
Okay, good point. Good point. So you like to be thought of more as you cultivate connection through art and
Yeah.
you,
And I provide the projects like the string art where you can work it until you like it. And here's another project, this weaving project, right? People will feel like they are artists after doing this. This is something, that's very tactile. All the projects that I share in the Duet Project are very tactile. None of them are, we are going to draw a specific thing. None of them are drawing.
you are so right. It's really, you're creating experiences, right, for pairs and bringing them together. And it's so doable. And people can overthink it. And people can also just show up and enjoy and go through the steps. You're fully guided. You don't have to say, what am I going to ask? Because I loved going through the booklet and reading. And I love that you have the simple version of just the questions on the page. So great. Well,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Amy from Amy's Art Palette and the Duet Project. It is so great to talk to you, and I hope people will look out for you and see who do they want to cultivate and create connection with through art. That's
Thank you
awesome.
so much, Hillary.